What's good, YouTube land? That Word Collector here. Now, back when I reviewed Titan's Return Scourge, I said that he was not the only Generation Scourge released. And now, I finally got him. Under the simple moniker of Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Scourge! That wasn't metal enough. Here's the previous Generation Scourge, which is basically a modern take on the old Space Canoe mode. They can barely stay in the same frame together. But there's your comparison in alt mode, and this is much more of a plane, and this is a soap dish slash Space Canoe. But this is a really cool stealth bomber slash jet mode, whatever you want to call it. Give you a good look at the top side. You got a Decepticon badge right there. You got a lot of nice molding and detail on the wings, which are pretty big. Like, I have to pull them back about here for him to be all in frame. You got some nice blue right here. Bits of white. The white and blue look so much better than this guy's blue on blue on blue. You got little bits of red poking out there. You got 6 painted windows, along with a bunch of molded in windows that aren't painted. And that's about it for the top side. Also, this is a really clean vehicle mode. There's basically no robot kibble. That's blatantly obvious. I mean, you got a head up here, and if you know how this transforms, you know that's a torso, but no, look, there's almost no kibble. Like, it's so hard nowadays to get a jet that has no kibble, or at least very little kibble on it. And you do have landing gear. They don't roll, but they do actually fold up, which is nice. And if you put them flat down, he kind of nosedives. But on the bottom, you got a little bit of darker blue, a lot more white, and just a little section here with 3 jet turbines. So this guy is built for speed. I like the downward sloped wings as well. It looks kind of cool. For another comparison, here he is with his buddy, Gold. Damn it. Here, oh man, I'm blanking on this guy. Give me a couple seconds. I'm sure I'm going to look it up, and I'll already remember it before I look it up. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. See. Cyclonus, damn it. Here he is, there he is with Cyclonus. Why couldn't I remember that? Cyclonus. Yeah, these two were meant to go together when, like, they're released at the same time, but yeah, they look cool. Here are your movie Decepticons. All I need is a Galvatron that's deluxe and doesn't suck. Because the Voyager one from the movie line doesn't suck, but it's too big. And the Generations Galvatron is a tank, and his transformation sucks. But take Cyclonus out of the way. We do also have a little bit of play in the vehicle mode. We have weapon storage. Now, you just have to unpeg the wings a little bit. This guy did come out when the 3mm clip system was the main gimmick going on. So if I actually unpeg the wings, which is actually frightening to do, because they are very stiff. You got a slot for a peg and a slot for a peg, but you have guns in his wings, and I really like that feature. So you got this small little thing which has a clip on it. It also folds down a 5mm peg, and if we go on the other side wing, we pulled out another gun. I figured I'd do this now, but just because I want to show you guys. Here's his gun, which I assume is from the movie. I haven't watched the G1 movie. And also it has a bar right there so you can combine them. It also kind of has an issue with insecurity. This doesn't peg in at all. But you can take this little guy, and there's a bar right there, which you can plug, you clip it into, so you have basically attack mode on a hinge. That's cool. Or, if you don't want to do that, you also have these two bars underneath. And due to this being a really short peg, or clip, like really small clip, they kind of automatically point downwards, which is actually at a really good angle if you want to shoot something that's below you. So, you got it on either side. Unfortunately, you can't put this gun anywhere. There's no 5mm holes I've seen anywhere on this alt mode to plug this gun. But, you know, I do like a little bit of weapons integration into the alt mode. But we must get him into robot mode, and I'll be right back. Whoops. For the purposes of this video, I have placed the guns back into the wings to show that you can transform him with the guns still in their wing holds. So, to start, you want to unpeg the wings. What would you call this, like a Gerwalk mode? I can't really walk mode. But you also you also want to take this panel with them, which just pegs in to those two slots right there, and you want to hinge it as far as you can backwards. And then we're not going to do anything with that yet. Save the head reveal for a minute, but you're going to want to unpeg this panel right here. It just pegs in to the same kind of ports, but it also fits in right there to make it look seamless. It's not the exact same shade of blue. This is white plastic painted blue as opposed to solid blue plastic. Excuse me. So it doesn't color match perfectly, but I'm completely fine with it. And then you're going to want to unpeg the front of the jet and fold it down. It's on double hinge and a hinge. Something's gone wrong. And you're going to want to rotate the leg facing that way. And then you can get the foot out and fold the foot down, and there you have a leg all done. And you do the same thing on the other side. Fold it down, rotate at the thigh swivel. You can see the connectors, the front of the jet we're using. And you want to pull the foot out, and you're done with the legs. Now you want to rotate the arms out slightly so you have clearance. You want to fold the butt flap up. It's on a double hinge. And you want to rotate the waist. If you can. Yep. It should be... Oh, wait. You don't want to do that yet. Now you want to flip up the head, because I forgot to show this, which makes me go back to vehicle mode. Show you a reverse transformation for a bit. Luckily I didn't transform him too much before I remembered I missed a gimmick. And I keep hitting Titan's Return Scourge beside me. So he's back in his jet mode. And a thing he did in the G1 movie was actually he liked to peer up out of his vehicle mode to get Ultra Magnus. So you can do that with this toy. This is his head, and you just fully extend it on its neck. That far, and now you have a really weird Ultra Magnus head peering up out of the back end of his alt mode. So his head is up his jet's ass. But there you go. And it's a little hard to push it back in, but you gotta push it at least twice. So we'll do this again. Come take this panel. You're going to flip it up, actually. You can do that now. And hinge it out. These pegs right here are going to go in that, basically right there. There's a little... They just sit there. There's no real friction keeping them there, which is really the only unfortunate thing about this toy, is some of the things don't lock in completely. You want to, again, fold out this cover panel, like that. Fold down the leg. Like that. Yeah, this is on a, backpack's on a double hinge. I'll talk about that in a second. Fold down. And fold the foot out, and you want to fold the legs back there. Now the waist joint here is locked by this piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip up the head and fold out the neck, and then you're going to want to slide the torso piece all the way up until it basically clicks into the bottom of the neck. I can, like, it's gonna, there's a little slot right in there, and it's gonna peg into this piece right here, hopefully, and you have to push it, the neck down a little bit to achieve it. But now you have that, you're gonna rotate the waist 180, so his hips are in the proper position. You're going to want to peg the backpack. There's this little circular bit that will go over the thruster, and you're going to want to peg these two square bits right here in front of my fingers into these two ports right there, and you just want to collapse it down. Actually, collapse it. No, where am I going? Where am I going? What is going on? Okay, it's on a triple hinge. There, you want the collapsed, like, there. So they peg in right there, and you can display the wings however you see fit. And the arms do a really cool thing. You want to unpeg this part. I'll raise up the camera a bit. It's a little bit hard to stand. But you want to unpeg this, and you want to extend the arm a little. You're going to rotate the shoulder, so this little silver detail is showing through. And then you want to rotate the outside on this inner hinge, and you're going to peg this back in, but here. And now you have the shape of an arm. Rotate so the elbow is facing forwards, and use the sleevers, because he has frickin' sleevers to pop out his wrist. And you can also leave this butt skirt up there if you want. You can leave it out here. You can leave it down there. Do with that what you will. And you want to do the same thing on the other side. Hinge. Fold out. Rotate. Rotate. Plug back in. Fold the elbow properly. And use the sleever, which is on the back of his arm right there, to fully extend the wrist. And there you have Scourge in his robot mode, and this is a really cool robot. Like, that transformation is a little bit finicky at places, like with this. Whoa, dude! Dude, calm down. Alright, what am I gonna do? Let's hope he actually stands up now. But yeah, the transformation is a bit finicky with the chest slider, and like the neck is a bit too tight. But otherwise, it's a really cool transformation. I really enjoy it. Like, as I said, the arms do the really cool trick of folding out into actual good-looking arms. The legs, while they don't do much, they still look really good. And he's rocking the frickin' six-pack right there. That's cool. His hips are a bit loose on mine. But yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have any packaging to show you. Otherwise, I would have shown you already. Well, that was the worst mistake I could have made, wanting to eat. And he does have a little bit of a backpack. I mean, his wings, no, they don't go anywhere in his now butt flap. And overall, I think it's a really good-looking robot. For comparison, here he is with Titan's Return Scourge, and Titan's Return Scourge is a little taller, but not like a little. Like a couple inches. Well, I don't know if he's a couple inches, but he's a little bit taller. Here he is with Cyclonus. See, I can remember his name. Yeah, and Cyclonus is quite a bit taller, but I assume this is a good scale. Maybe people will let me know. But there is the team looking really good. Yeah. Get more into detail. He has his iconic facial hair, which is actually picked out in black paint, unlike this guy who just lived blank in silver. His goatee. He does have the thing on his head, which this guy sort of does, but it's very puny. And I do like the color scheme again, like most of the white's gone to here, but it still feels like it breaks up the blue nicely on his biceps and forearms, and some on the sides of his legs and his thighs. And now the con badge makes a bit more sense being on his pectoral region. He does have a nice little bit of mechanical detail for his shoulder joints, which are mostly transformation, and the ports that his wings plug into have a nice little bit of red paint, and the other red paint is on his fingers, like they actually painted his fingers. And I like the hand sculpt because his fingers are all different sizes. Like, that's closer to accurate to a regular hand than most robots, but he's kind of doing like this thing, like I don't really know. I guess he's trying to grip a gun? I'm not sure. Oh, came unpegged. There we go. So, articulation-wise, his neck and head is on a ball joint. So he has nice, full 360-degree motion. You do get a little bit of up and down, because there's the ball joints on a pretty free in there. You do get a little bit of wiggle, but not really much. He can look up a little. He does have light piping, like he has a chunk there in the back of his head for light piping, which I don't have a light on me at this moment. Sorry about that. I didn't think this completely through, so let's see. Yeah, his eyes light pipe blue. There you go. It's been a long time since I've been able to say it, but light piping. I mean, seriously, going through Titan's Return and Combiner Wars with no light piping kind of gets a little... Excuse me, I'm going to check my email. But, yeah, more, his shoulders are on a hinge here for full rotation, and you can use the transformation joint to get some upward motion. And it's nice that he has a collar that blocks his shoulder from hitting him in the head. No, it's not ball jointed, there's no butterfly motion, but it's a pretty good shoulder. And it actually stays really in place. Like, you kind of have to force it a little to make the transformation go, but then you're actually making the transformation go. You can have his shoulders however high or low you want. There is a bicep swivel, but it's a little low. It's at the elbow. It is I think it's a mushroom peg. Yep. Mushroom peg. Which is also part for his transformation. He does have a 90-degree elbow hinge. And he actually has a wrist swivel, which is very rare to see nowadays. Like a non-transformation wrist joint is very, like, almost non-existent in today's generation's deluxes. He does have a waist swivel for transformation, but you kind of have to get the butt plate out of the way, because if you don't, it will bang into things. Like, these little things on the sides of his waist do tend to bump into the hinges in the back, but it's easy enough to forget about. And that looks hilariously awkward, so I like to leave the butt flap, I like to leave it up, so it's kind of harder to see. His hips are on a ball joint. You don't get a lot of forward motion due to his thigh armor, but you can rotate it a little to get full forwards. They go outwards completely. You can do the full Van Damme. But as I said, the hips on mine are a little loose. I picked this up secondhand, basically. Like, he was on sale for, like, he was loose. So he's probably, I doubt he's been owned by somebody else, but the toy store I bought him from probably bought him, and then, like, they've had him for so long that they just took him out of the package and put him on display to sell. You do have a thigh swivel, as I showed off earlier. It is I believe it's a mushroom peg. Yeah, another mushroom peg. His knees are double jointed. One of them is for transformation, but one of them is also gives you a really nice looking bend. And if you want, you can use the other joint for even deeper curl, but I found you don't really need to. Like, I'd say this is about 90 and it goes that far. That's a really good bend. And his ankles are on a ball joint. You do have a bit of rotation this way. You do have upwards and downwards, mostly for transformation, but you can do some, let's try some ridiculous, I don't know, wide-legged poses, and his legs actually do stand up. Like, he does stand up. That's pretty cool. And I guess for the end of this, we have to give him his weapons. So you have to, you know, this is still frightening. Unpeg gun. And unpeg the other gun. If I had a complaint, it's this backpack does not like to actually stay in place. Like, this right here, these joints are not the tightest, and the wings have nowhere to, like, click in or just friction in. Especially, like, these two joints are really loose, like these peg connections. So you kind of have to hold him, but also the wings are on a hinge, which is not for transformation at all. Like this hinge right here, there is a joint in a joint, there's a double jointed hinge right there, and there's another joint to go downwards. I guess just for display, because kind of make it look like he's wearing a cape. I have no idea how much of that was actually on screen, but we'll just put together his gun. It's a shame they didn't release him with a Target Master, because he did go through that toy line, the Target Master. Like, freaking, this guy got a Target Master, Cyclonus, but why didn't Scourge? I have no idea. But there he is with his gun. And the jokes just on this gun just write themselves. But yeah. Overall, I'm very happy to have finally picked up this iteration of Scourge. Thank you for watching. This could be a shameless plug, but I recently did a review of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, the 2017 one, on my friend's channel. I recommend checking it out. There'll probably be a link in the description. It's mostly me, like 90% me fanboying, but I do try and have like some critical thoughts of the movie. But if you guys have been around my channel long enough, you know I like Power Rangers. I do a lot of Power Ranger reviews. I can recommend checking out that video. Give him some support as well. Lord knows he probably needs it. He's suddenly complaining about how many views he gets on his video. So go watch the hell out of that video. And until next time, keep it weird.